Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about a lesson from the 2020 midterm elections, the U.S. 2020 midterm elections. All right, so what is the lesson? Well, I'm try not to bury the lead here. I'll give it to you real quick. All right. It's so hard to get here fast. Okay, jump right in. All right, here we go. A lot of Americans, I hear this constantly. Oh, there's no point in voting. It doesn't matter, right? I hear it everywhere. I have family members who believe it. I have I have friends who say it. I have associates who say it. I hear it all over YouTube. People are like, I don't vote. It doesn't matter, right? And that makes me outrageously vexed, right? Because I'm like, good Americans bled their red, white, and blue blood onto the ground for this right, man. It's really, really important you use it. Like, really good Americans, like better Americans than you and better Americans than me died for this. Like, could you use this thing they died for, maybe? Like, could you put some value on it? They put their own blood and their own lives as the value, and you're like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, oh, this is so bad, right? And so, but get this, I have incredible sympathy for them because there's no way to argue with them about how it feels. Okay, you can argue with them. I do argue. I argue with every single one of them. It matters, and you should vote. And the words coming out of your mouth make you a fool, right? Like, you need to vote. It's super important, right? Like, I can't believe I'm having this debate with people, but it is a very real debate, and I'm like, man, I can't tell. Like, I don't know how many ways to say this. It's really important that you vote, right? But I have so much sympathy for them because right now there's no way to argue that it feels like it doesn't matter, right? I sloughed my butt off to the polls on November 8th, 2022, and I'll tell you right now, to me right now, it feels like it didn't matter, right? What happened? Like, who controls the Senate? Who controls the House? We don't know. Right? Like, we don't know the answer to that. Who controls the Senate and the House? We don't know the answer to that. And we won't know the answer to that until the middle of December. This is an utter failure for every American politician to the people, right? They should have fixed this system. I don't care all the reasons. You can chuck up you can stack the reasons like pancakes. I do not give an F, right? It is wrong. We should know. Right now, we should have known 11 p.m. on the 8th. We should have known at 11 p.m., right? And the fact that we won't know for a month and a half, and I honestly, I don't want to, get into conspiracy theories and all, but it feels like they're telling you, hey, do you not care about American politics? Why don't you not vote? Because the people who do, they don't get any answers, and they certainly don't get any joy, right? Like, it feels like it doesn't matter, but it does matter. Okay? Now, what's that got to do with Dungeons & Dragons? Clickety click, click, click. Right? Lego click. And we'll give you the answer. Everybody, talk to any dungeon master, any dragon player other than me, and they will tell you, oh, the stories at my Dungeons & Dragons don't affect the IR. They don't affect the real world. It does. You just don't realize it. It doesn't feel like it does. And the reason why is when the impact of the stories told at your Dungeons & Dragons table it is months or years later, and it fundamentally changes the life of every single person who sat at that table. Their vocabularies are expanded, their willingness to read is expanded, their tolerance for complexity is expanded, their empathy is expanded, their ability to understand themselves, understand people, understand governments, understand complex systems of culture massively expand. And not just and it's just the tiniest indiscernible centimeter on the day of, but it widens into a gap where you've created a person who is charismatic, confident, and intelligent, who impacts the world. And I believe right now, if you looked at the people who have played Dungeons & Dragons and you looked at their impact on the world, the people who have played Dungeons & Dragons and their impact on the world would outweigh the people who've not played Dungeons & Dragons by a factor of 3. So it feels like Dungeons & Dragons, like the game, air quotes, you are playing isn't impacting the people at your table, isn't impacting America directly, isn't impacting the world, you are wrong. It feels that way. But just like when I voted, the impacts were real. It just doesn't feel like it right now because there are no answers and the system is horribly broken. But on December 15th, click! There is going to be an answer to who controls the Senate and the House. And that will have massive ramifications for hundreds of thousands, millions, hundreds of millions of Americans. And that impact will radiate out to every country on this planet. The impact is real. It just doesn't feel like it. And people don't see it. So they get confused. Voting matters. What happens at your Dungeons & Dragons table matters. The effect is delayed. Do not be a fool. Do not think that things that have incredible impact don't. Voting and D&D matter. That's my humble opinion. I'm ready to hear yours. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.